Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are back and better than ever. Today I wanted to talk about my experience with treating depression with antidepressants because it really has changed my life and I feel like there's not a lot of reviews or conversation about it on YouTube, so let's get into the video. So I've been struggling with anxiety for about 3 years, ever since I started college, and I'm a senior now, so senior season. Yeah, I never really struggled with anxiety before college. It was more like depression in high school, and then as soon as college came, anxiety just kind of took over. So yeah, I started off seeing my school counselor, and I was really like against medication. I didn't want to take any. I didn't want to be dependent on a medication my whole life. So I was seeing my counselor for about a year at my school, and her techniques and methods weren't really effective for me. Not to say that they won't work for someone else, but they just weren't working for me at the time. And she ended up recommending me to see a psychiatric nurse practitioner who prescribed me Lexapro. And I was like, okay, I'm all out of options. I might as well try this medication and see where I'm at with it, or like if it helps or not. So the first night I took Lexapro, I had a panic attack. It was the first one I ever had. And, of course I called the nurse practitioner and I was like, yeah, the medication like made me have a panic attack. And he was like, no, that's not how it works, blah, 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 blah. He was like, your anxiety from taking the medication is probably what caused you to have a panic attack. And I was like, no, like it was definitely the medication type of thing. And now that I'm in nursing school, I know how the medications work, and it definitely wasn't the medication that caused me to have a panic attack. It was definitely my anxiety. So keep that in mind. So then he prescribed me a different medication. He was like, okay, let's try a different route. Let's not try an antidepressant. Let's try an anti-anxiety medication. So he prescribed me Buspar. And I think I was on that medication for about like almost a month. And I just felt like I was high all the time. I just felt out of it. I felt like a zombie, which is mostly what people are afraid of when they start medications. And I don't know if I was just overthinking it or if it was just all in my head, but I really could not focus in class. I just felt like super out of it. So yeah, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing this medication route. Like, it's not for me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So once nursing school started, I think I was having panic attacks like every night, if not every other night, if not every night. And I really was just so tired. I was having a lot of GI problems as well due to stress. So yeah, I just couldn't do it. So after the first year of nursing school, I went to my family physician back at home, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I really think I'm ready to try medication again. I didn't really give it a good try the first time. So she put me back on Lexapro, and I started at a low dose. You start low and you go slow. And now I am on 20 milligrams, but she started me off at 5. And it really, since I actually gave it a try, I was a lot more willing to try the medication because, one, I've studied the medication because of school. I know how it's supposed to work. I know what symptoms to look out for, etc. Whereas before, I was kind of naive with the medication and what it was actually supposed to do and how it was actually supposed to help. So, and Lexapro is one of the main antidepressants that they prescribe for anxiety. And it just, gives you some extra serotonin in your body. So yeah, ever since I've been on that medication, it takes about a month for you to see effects, and it really has changed a lot. Now, keep in mind, it didn't completely take away my anxiety, but it was more so I'd be anxious about a situation, and then I could talk myself out of being anxious. Whereas before, I would be anxious about a situation and there was no talking me out of it. My friends would be like, it's not that serious. Are you anxious right now? And I'd be like, no, the worst thing is about to happen right now. But now I'm maybe I'll get anxious about going to Walmart. And I'm like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen with me going to Walmart? Is it gonna kill me? That's literally all I say. is this about to kill me? Is it gonna kill me? Am I gonna die? And I'm like, no. And then I just move on with my day. Like, the anxiety dissipates, like it's gone. It's not like gonna immediately take away your anxiety. Like I said, I started at 5 milligrams and then I worked my way up. But it definitely helps you like think differently. Like my thinking patterns, my thoughts are completely different. They're not as negative, not as pessimistic. And it's still a learning experience and a learning process. You kind of have to teach yourself different ways of thinking because you've been stuck in this thought process for the longest time. And medication really just allows you to think like a normal person's supposed to think, or like a regular person. Before this medication, I used to worry about everything, worry about little things. And now when I'm worrying about something, I'm like, what is really the worst thing that could happen? And then immediately I'm like, okay, yeah, I probably don't need to be worrying about this right now. I don't have time to stress about that when I have bigger things, other things, school-related things to stress about. So, yeah, that is my experience taking an antidepressant to help with my anxiety. And I hope this gives someone insight somewhere. Maybe you were skeptical about taking medication. But yeah, medications do work differently for everyone. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But me giving it a second chance was definitely the best thing I could have done. I don't plan on being on this medication for the rest of my life, but mostly until I'm done with nursing school and have a year and a half left, because school was really like my main trigger. So yeah, and then once I'm done, I'll wean myself off of it, and hopefully I will have learned like good thinking patterns by then, so I don't even really need the medication anymore. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this, I think. Anywho, if you like videos like this or want to see my face a little more, give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Bye.